A lot of investors expect their property manager to work like their realtor does. Text messages, phone calls anytime, day or night. And if you're expecting that kind of boutique concierge service, you might be really underwhelmed by the way your property manager performs. Because see, realtors do things a lot different. They're going to be much more one-on-one, where your property manager, successful property managers, have systems and processes. And so they're going to put you into those and teach you what to expect. So this video is all about how you're going to learn about their systems and processes so you know what to expect and you know how to get the information you need and hold them accountable. I'm PM Jen, and I've been a property manager now for over 22 years. I have my own company, One Focus Property Management, but I spend a lot of time evangelizing buy and hold real estate, specifically the hold part, the hard part. I want to show you how to maximize holding your properties to build generational wealth. And one part of that is often hiring a property manager and knowing how to work with them. This series is all about that, and this video is about how you can learn what to expect and then hold that manager accountable. Something to know about property management is that we work on a monthly cycle. So there's going to be things that happen absolutely every month. You're probably familiar with them as an investor, but you want to know how that's going to work from the management company's perspective. So when are they collecting your rents? When are they distributing your rents to you? When will you get reporting? When will you be notified of things like when renewals come up or if there's a delinquency? So learning what that monthly and even annual cycle is, because there's tax reporting, there's license renewals, things that happen on an annual basis. I want you to ask those questions and say, when is this going to happen? What is this going to look like for me as the owner? Is this going to come in a phone call, text, email, or as a part of that monthly reporting package that I have to open up and see? Once you understand the normal cadence of communication, you want to know, how am I going to go about getting you when it's outside of those normal processes, right? When I need to know something, need clarification, or I have a problem, how am I going to reach out? Am I calling the property manager, Mary? Am I going to call and put in a support ticket? Is there a receptionist I work with? Do I do something in my portal? All of these are valid ways to go about this, but if you don't know the best way to get information, you're going to be frustrated. You'll want to get really clear with that property manager on when you can expect to get portal access. It's pretty conventional at this point in the late 2020s for property owners to have live portal access into financials and reports with their property manager. If you don't have that, I'd ask why, what kind of software they're running. But if you get that portal, it's important you know how to access it, what you can do if you're having problems with it, what your password's going to be, all of that stuff, because that is one of the main things property managers are doing to close that communication gap, to give you information day or night whenever you come looking for it. So make sure you understand how to get into that portal. And the last thing on this setting up, getting onboarded and what to expect, is to ask your property manager how long you can expect to wait for a reply. So if you ask a question about your monthly reporting package and say, hey, I don't understand the $300 maintenance charge from January 26th, how long can you expect to wait from your property manager with a response to that question? And you know, a lot of companies are claiming 1 business day, 2 business days. They want to do it within hours. You need to know what to expect so you know when there's a problem. I'm not saying it has to be fast or slow, but it needs to meet your needs, and you need to know what to expect. Now, you hired a property manager because you want to hand off the responsibility and you want to have an expert doing it, and you are going to get that. But especially when you're new with a property manager, you need to inspect what you expect. That is just a really core principle. So a couple of pieces of advice. We're going to track major dates, at least for the first year or 2 of management. So I want in your calendar, investor, I want you to have contract dates with your management company. So when does that come up for renewal? When do you have to notify them if you want to terminate? I want you to have marked on your calendar every month. When are you expecting your monthly statement and your deposit? Because if it's late, you need to be reminded that it's late so you can take some action. I want you to have lease renewal dates indicated on your calendar. Maybe insurance renewal, anything that's coming up that you want to make sure and have certainty has been handled for you. My second tip, I already gave you a little hint on it, is inspect what you expect. So you expect leases to be properly completed and fully executed. Well, that means you need to inspect them. So maybe if your property manager executes a new lease or a renewal, you ask to see that document so you can make sure it's being done properly. Same thing with inspections. If your manager is completing preventive maintenance inspections for you, going into properties, assessing their condition and collecting photos or videos, take the time and look at them. Ask questions. Make sure you understand exactly what's going on. And I want you to read your statements. I know they're long and boring. I want you to read and understand your statements, particularly in the beginning of your relationship. I want you to figure out all the questions that you have so that you can have confidence in the future when something happens that you'll be able to solve it. So you're inspecting what you expect. One last thing I want you to get really clear on is who has what authority in this agreement, because sometimes I find that property owner clients forget what they agreed to over the very long term of these property management agreements. So things like who decides what tenant applications are selected for approval? Well, is that the property manager or the property owner? How are delinquencies handled? When do we serve a notice to quit or put up a landlord-tenant complaint? Is that the management company's decision or is that the property owner's decision? What lease terms are going to be offered? How will work orders be addressed? How will we get permission for items that could go beyond the approval threshold? So lots of questions there to explore. Who's going to do what and when? And it's worth it to take the time and work out those hypotheticals and make a note of them so that you know how to be holding the manager accountable moving forward. In future videos in this series, we're going to talk about how and when to fire your property manager. If things aren't going well, how are you going to get out of this relationship? And that's important to know. But I hope this series is giving you exactly what you need to be confident and hire a property manager and hold them accountable with confidence. I'm PM Jen. I make a ton of content for buy and hold investors, all about how to manage their properties more successfully. I hope you'll like, follow, and subscribe here on YouTube, but also on all the other platforms. I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, maybe another one. Who knows? Or subscribe to my newsletter at HoldItwithPMJen.com.